The first thing I did when I returned to the past was injecting myself with 100 kilograms of the zombie virus. My classmates all laughed at me for being a fool, but only I knew that the doomsday was approaching. 80% of the creatures will turn into man-eating monsters. Those who survive will awaken their own talents. Even the gods who govern the rules descend to Earth. But they only treat humans as their domesticated livestock. In order to seek their own interests, they will bestow some humans with supreme power and authority. And I, in my previous life, in order to survive, resolutely joined the dark goddess and became her pawn. Although I worked diligently time and time again, and completed the trials she arranged each time, but failed once, the dark goddess decided to erase me. Before I die, I swear if there is another life, I will repay the pain I have suffered 100-fold. But before I finished speaking, I was crushed by the dark goddess's jade foot. However, when I opened my eyes again, I found myself reborn back to my college days. Just as I was wondering, a faint light emanated from the hourglass on my chest. This is a special item I obtained in the trial of the previous life's copy. I didn't expect it to actually have the ability to go back in time. Then I picked up my phone and took a look. At this time, there are only 2.5 days left until the outbreak of Doomsday. Thinking back to the humiliation brought to me by the dark goddess in the previous life, I swear that in this life, I will definitely step on her fiercely. However, the most urgent task now is, I must activate the talent in my body before the end of the world comes. For this reason, I came to the outbreak of the previous life, the first hospital in the virus-infected downtown. In the previous life, my talent was virus resistance. This time I decided to use the mourner virus. I will activate and strengthen my talents in advance. Taking advantage of the gap between the doctor and the nurse, I secretly sneaked into the room of a patient infected with the mourner virus. Then, I took out the syringe and injected it into the patient. Extracted 100 kilograms of the funeral virus. Such a large quantity should be enough for me to stimulate my talent. I returned to the dormitory after a moment. Fortunately, my roommates all went to the internet cafe overnight. But just as I took out the syringe, I hesitated a bit. Cannot read properties of undefined. Reading starts with. 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 I thought of this. Without hesitation, I injected the Reaper virus into my own arm. Soon, a sharp pain swept through my whole body instantly. When I opened my eyes again, I found the dark goddess appeared in front of me unexpectedly. She opened her arms and said to me, "Chunbai, give up resistance. Embrace the darkness. As a humble human, becoming a part of the darkness is your ultimate destination." I was furious when I heard this. How could I possibly fall here? The next morning, the 3 roommates who stayed up all night at the internet cafe also returned to the dormitory. After they saw my clean appearance, they were scared to the point of wetting their diapers. Holy cow! What's wrong with you, Chunzi? After hearing my roommate calling my name, I finally regained consciousness. Then I smiled. Don't be nervous. I'm just playing cosplay. Saying that, I turned around and entered the nearby restroom, watching myself in the mirror as the ghost virus gradually recedes. I am so excited. Great. The ghost virus didn't kill me. Looks like my talent successfully upgraded. I just don't know what level my talent will awaken to. Just as I was lost in thought, the voice of the cosmic will echoed in my mind. Chunbai, congratulations. You have been chosen as the pioneer. Obtain the title of the pioneer and awaken the talent in advance. Then a system panel appears in front of me. The pioneer can awaken the attribute panel in advance, and all attributes increase by 5%. Experience gain increases by 10%. See here. I couldn't wait to open the talent panel. I didn't expect that the awakening this time is the SSS level talent virus king. This is the strongest talent in the virus department. Not only can it absorb and utilize viruses, can even create new viruses. However, for now, the ability and scope of my virus absorption are limited. I need a large number of viruses to enhance my talent level. As soon as I think of this, I came to the first hospital in the city again. But as soon as I arrived at the hospital entrance, I saw a group of people running away frantically. At this moment, the hospital has already experienced the first wave of zombie virus outbreak. However, while everyone was desperately escaping, I swaggered towards the zombies. In the previous life before the end of the world, three strange events occurred in the city. One of them is this sealed hospital. Now it seems that I came at the right time. Thinking of this, with excitement on my face, I rushed towards the approaching zombie. With the blessing of talent awakening, with a single blow, I sent the zombie flying dozens of meters. Then I started to display the exclusive skill virus absorption of talent. Soon sucked the entire household to death, and the commotion here also attracted the surrounding households over. Meanwhile, in the bathroom on the fourth floor of the hospital, listening to the continuous banging outside the door, Lu Feng's face in the bathroom turned pale. It's over now. This door is about to collapse. Thinking of this, Lu Feng turned around and looked at the pursuit of himself. The nurse sister who hasn't been pursued for 2.5 years. A bold idea suddenly emerged in his mind. I have been pursuing you for so long, and you still refuse. I'm about to die now. Why not let me have a good time before I die? Just as he was about to pounce on the nurse, the mourning family suddenly broke into the room. At a critical moment, Lu Feng grabbed the nurse's wrist. Then he pushed her in front of the mourning hall. Lu Feng took the opportunity to escape from the bathroom window. Meanwhile, I have already arrived at the hospital. All the mourning households on the third floor have been cleaned up. When I arrived on the fourth floor, I happened to find the nurse sister who had been infected by the virus. It seems that she was just bitten. There should still be time. I reached out and placed my hand on the nurse's forehead, ready to extract the zombie virus from her body. The military will soon seal off this place. I need someone who knows the hospital to show me the way. And this nurse is the perfect candidate. After sucking out all the lost virus from her body, can we stop her from turning? Under my operation, nurse sister has indeed returned to normal under my care. The nurse sister who woke up thanked me immediately and asked me why I could remove the zombie virus from her body. But I directly grabbed her hand and rushed outside. No time to explain. I need you to take me to the place with the most viruses in your hospital. Quickly. Under the guidance of the nurse, we arrived at the virus storage laboratory. I saw the nurse's shocked expression. Then, hundreds of viruses were mixed together. After that, directly used the talent skill to absorb all the viruses completely. Next, use the absorbed. Use all the absorbed viruses to strengthen the Reaper virus. T-virus, without hesitation, I chose to evolve. The blacklight virus T-virus that has the greatest impact on me. It is a virus that mainly feeds and evolves. It can also enhance the host's healing ability by 200%. I just finished evolving the virus. The nurse ran over anxiously. A mourner has entered. Upon hearing this, I told her to stay here and not move. Leave everything to me. After saying that, I took a quick step and instantly rushed towards the mourner. Without hesitation, I grabbed him in front of me. Just use you to test my new ability. The next second, my palm grows out. Countless tentacles wrap around, accompanied by screams. The mourner was quickly devoured by me. The nurse who saw this scene directly collapsed to the ground. However, she quickly recovered. Then she took a deep breath and said, "You saved me. I believe you won't harm me. I will keep your secret." Hearing that, I smiled and extended my right hand to her. "Hello. My name is Chunzi." And from her mouth I also learned. The nurse's name is Su Xing. Just at this moment, suddenly, there was a burst of gunfire outside the hospital. It seems that the military and the police have arrived at the hospital. They are sealing off the scene and cleaning up the casualties. We should also leave. To avoid being questioned in isolation, I pulled Su Xing and prepared to leave from the rooftop. Unexpectedly, we encountered a mutated zombie halfway. What's even more surprising is that this mutated zombie is so powerful. Only one move scratched my arm, but this makes me even more excited. The stronger this mutant becomes, the more advanced evolution my blacklight virus can produce. Blacklight virus can produce more advanced evolution. Without waiting for me to think too much, the mutated zombie launched another attack on me. Seeing this, I took off in place to dodge the attack of the zombie. I fiercely kicked it in the back of its head. Just as I was about to land safely, the mutated zombie swiftly struck me with a knife hand. I'm pulling away from the combat while absorbing the energy from the surrounding zombies to replenish my strength. While absorbing the energy from the surrounding zombies to replenish my strength, I'm also keeping a safe distance from the combat. The mutated zombies realized that they couldn't harm me. They let out a roar in frustration as they failed to inflict any damage on me. I could see that I was still intact and unharmed. The quality is no less than that of this mutant zombie. When I think of this, I immediately use my devouring ability. I try to deliver a fatal blow to the mutant zombie. Little did I know that my punch was like hitting a steel plate. My full force attack only left a shallow mark on it, which didn't cause any significant damage. No, this won't cause any effective damage, and will also waste a lot of time. Suddenly, there was a sound of glass breaking from the side. Su Xing smashed the fire cabinet. She took out the fire axe from inside. Then she swung it with force. She threw the fire axe towards me. With the support of weapons, I easily broke through the defense of the mutant zombies. With the advantage of speed, I fought against the mutant zombies for more than 800 rounds. Then I seized the opportunity and grabbed the weapon in my hand, threw the fire axe at the zombie. In the moment when the zombie lowered its head to dodge the attack, I grabbed the fire axe tightly and swung it hard on top of its head. To my surprise, this strike not only failed to kill the mutated zombie, instead, it completely infuriated him. In the next second, it unleashed a double dragon attack. As soon as it set sail, it pinned me against the wall, just as the mutant was about to tear me apart with its hands. But I had an excited smile on my face. Do you want to tear me apart like this? Then I'll let you tear me apart. Just as I was losing my doubts about the mutation, suddenly, a pile emerged from my abdomen. The tentacles wrapped around its hands. Mutated zombies that sensed something was wrong. Just wanted to escape, but it was already too late. Soon, those tentacles will wrap it up. The entire house was wrapped inside and out with 3 layers. Accompanied by the tentacles, the mutated zombies were devoured completely. The system also sent me a prompt. Congratulations to the host for successfully devouring the mutant at the second stage of the Lee technique. And my black light virus has evolved again. At the same time, I also obtained the exclusive skill Bone Claw that does not lose its effectiveness. Seeing this, I smiled proudly. It seems that my choice is correct. With the powerful devouring ability of this black light virus, I will soon rise in this future world. But I can't wait any longer. A series of hurried footsteps echoed in the hospital corridor. A group of fully armed soldiers surrounded us. Are the ones in front alive? If so, please raise your hands. I'll count to 3. If there's no action, we'll open fire. However, in the face of the soldiers' warning, I picked up Su Xing, who was beside me. We should leave. Guided by Su Xing, I was amidst the soldiers' gunfire, running towards the rooftop of the hospital. In just a moment, I followed Su Xing back to her home. As soon as we entered, Su Xing said she wanted to treat my wound. But I smiled and said that my wound had already healed. But she obviously didn't quite believe it. So I took off my shirt directly and revealed my own 18-pack abs. Upon seeing this scene, Su Xing, her face suddenly turned red. Upon seeing this, I joked with Su Xing. How about we play a more exciting game? Unexpectedly, Su Xing blushed and agreed. After burying myself for more than 10 hours, finally, the sky began to brighten. However, when I went out to buy breakfast, I received a call from Su Xing. She said there was a woman named Song Ziqiang looking for me. Song Ziqiang is known as the Queen of Jiangsheng, and her daughter, Song Gu, is one of my admirers. You replied, but this young lady didn't receive my reply. The first hospital, are you okay? So I asked her mother to come and find me. Are you back yet? Since this Song Ziqiang can come to Su Xing's house for me. Obviously, she already knows something. It seems necessary for me to meet her. Song Ziqiang from the previous life started from scratch and became the richest person in Jiangsheng. She even awakened an A-level talent after the apocalypse. She quickly established her own power. Finally, she unified the entire Jiangsheng. She became the true queen here. She in the previous life was someone I could only look up to. But now it's different. If I can conquer her and make her mine, I can save myself a lot of trouble before the arrival of the future. Time. Soon I was surrounded by Song Ziqiang's bodyguards. When I arrived at a cold storage warehouse in the suburbs, upon seeing me, Song Ziqiang smiled and said, Chin, I'm really sorry to have invited you here. I directly asked her what she wanted to talk to me about, but Song Ziqiang just came over and tugged at my collar. I just wanted to know what kind of charm the man who haunts my daughter's thoughts has. I have a serious expression when I hear this. Song. I don't like beating around the bush. Just say it if you have any purpose. Seeing me being so straightforward, Song Ziqiang is no longer beating around the bush. Then he said directly, Chun student, how about being my person? If you also like Xiaoga, it's not impossible for me to become your son-in-law. I sneered at her words. I don't think Aunt Song has any reason to win me over. But the next second, she smiled and said, because I saw Chin's heroic performance at the hospital. Anyone who sees it will be moved by love. I was shocked to hear this, because I've already destroyed the hospital surveillance and power supply. How does she know? At this moment, Song Ziqiang explained. The hospital happened to have her people. The person happened to witness the whole process of me mourning. And he also captured the video of me escaping from the military. Moreover, she also found Su Xing's colleague Lu Feng in the list of survivors at the hospital. After hearing the name Lu Feng, my face immediately turned gloomy. The night before, I had already learned from Su Xing's mouth. This Lu Feng not only wanted to force her in the bathroom, but also pushed her towards the zombies outside. And Su Xing, as my first woman, I naturally have to get rid of her enemy. However, just when I asked about Lu Feng's whereabouts, Song Ziqiang asked me to promise to be her talent in order to tell me. Hearing this, I smiled. Aunt Song, it seems that you still don't understand me very well. Saying that, I directly used the ability of the blacklight virus. Now it's not me who wants to be your person, but you should be my person, right? Seeing this scene, Song Ziqiang was suddenly shocked. Is this the mutation of the zombie virus? I just smiled faintly. If Aunt Song wants to know, if you work for me, I will tell you. Who knows? Song Ziqiang also smiled after hearing it. Chen Xiaoxue, you underestimate me too much. Just based on this, you can't conquer me. Besides, you already have a young nurse. How could you be interested in an old aunt like me? I just touched her delicate face. Who wouldn't be moved by such a beautiful wife? And doomsday is about to come. You can do much more for me than Su Xing. I can't believe how much I know about the future. Song Ziqiang suddenly became interested. So she immediately reached out her hand to indicate that she could cooperate with me. But I need to disclose to her some future news about the department's work. And as a strong woman, looking forward to a man who can conquer her. Just at the moment we reached a cooperation, several gunshots came from the surroundings. It turned out to be from the Jiangxing military region last night. Commander Huang negotiated with Song Ziqiang. They have requisitioned some cold storage warehouses to refrigerate the surviving zombies and isolate hospitals. There are only over 30 surviving zombies, but now there are gunshots. Obviously, there is a problem on the side of the cold storage warehouse. I started to ponder upon hearing these words. I didn't expect the military to find out so quickly that low temperature can slow down the decay process. But they definitely don't know That low temperature can also cause mutations in the infected. The mutant zombies are obviously appearing in the freezer now. At this moment, I suddenly remembered my past life. The suburban bombing of the three major events in Jiangxing. Could it be here? Thinking here, I walked straight towards the source of the gunshots. We will know when we go and see. Meanwhile, on this side of the freezer, a huge zombie broke through the soldiers' heavy defense. Faced with this mutant loss, ordinary firearms are ineffective against it. It cannot be of any use at all. Instead, it causes heavy casualties to the soldiers stationed here. Just as the highest commander, Zhao, when the platoon leader requested support from headquarters. However, Song Ziqiang came behind him. Zhao, platoon leader, withdraw your men who are firing to deal with it with your current firepower. That meat mountain will only end up dead for nothing. Captain Zhao said that the meat mountain dies quickly. Without anyone to hold them back, no one can escape. Hearing this, Song Ziqiang smiled faintly. Captain Zhao, just do as I say. The monster has already been dealt with by someone. Meanwhile, just as a woman was about to be smashed into minced meat by the flesh mountain, I appeared in time and blocked the attack from the flesh mountain. What surprised me was, this flesh mountain zombie has grown to such an extent. Just one hit almost dislocated my arm. Before I could think much, that flesh mountain zombie swung again. The massive body launched an attack towards me. With the advantage of speed, I killed it inside and out. Even I couldn't touch a single hair of it. The giant beast stood there, roaring in frustration. Captain Zhao, who witnessed this scene, was shocked. What kind of monster is this? Song Ziqiang blinked at the words. He is not a monster. He is my partner. And on the other side, I have been following the meat mountain zombie all the way. Hit the frozen storage with beef. Looking at the floor covered in high-grade Wagyu, I directly activated the devouring skill. Wait until the ground is full of Wagyu and suck it dry. My black light virus has also evolved slightly. I couldn't help but be delighted when I saw it. It's really high-quality beef. Not only did it restore my body, but it also upgraded my blacklight virus. The meat mountain mourner also rushed into the freezer at this time, trying to devour more meat to replenish strength. Seeing this situation, I seized the opportunity. Prepare to deliver a fatal blow to the meat mountain mourner. Accompanied by a purple lightning flashing across the sky, I instantly stabbed the head of the meat mountain with a fierce hammer. Seeing this, the meat mountain opened its arms and was ready to smash me into minced meat. But for me, it's just right. I directly released my tentacles and tightly entangled the meat mountain's hands. With the continuous absorption of the virus inside the meat mountain through the devouring skill, my virus power has also been qualitatively improved. Zhao, the captain who saw this scene, was shocked. This guy is definitely not human. But this is just right. We can take advantage of the fact that neither of the two monsters are currently. The active gaps will be solved together. But he was about to call for missile support from headquarters. But he was stopped by Song Ziqiang beside him. Captain Zhao, stay calm. You should know that he is saving us right now. I advise you not to do stupid things, so that everyone will not end up in a bad situation. After 2.5 minutes, as I completely absorb the flesh mountain zombies, I am also surrounded by soldiers from the military. Captain Zhao did this to prevent any anomalies from happening along the way. So he sent someone to protect this place. At this moment, the system sent me a prompt. I obtained the initial variant of the funeral virus, the flesh mountain, obtained 500 virus points. The Virus King's innate abilities unlocked. Significant improvement in all abilities of the black light virus. And my advantages have become even sharper. At the same time, it has also evolved into a hammer form. However, today's biggest gain. Nothing beats the meaty core in my hand. This rare material can not only be used to craft equipment, it can also be used to build a wall. A fleshy wall that can grow infinitely. It can be said to be in this world to come, a versatile weapon in the midst of offense and defense. Just at this moment, suddenly, Song Ziqiang behind me called out to me, "Chunbai, let me introduce you." This is Luli. I smiled at his words. Luli, a well-known journalist and a small internet celebrity in the city. It's you who secretly filmed me in the hospital, right? Nodded slightly. Thank you so much. You saved me twice. Without waiting for us to say more, Zhao Captain beside walked over. Mr. Chun Bai, General Huang of our military region hopes that you can explain your situation to the military. After hearing the name Huang Xingqiu, my face instantly darkened. After the end of the world in the previous life, this guy gathered a group of weak, awakened individuals, but treated them like pigs and dogs. And I am one of them, struggling until the end, unable to even have a decent meal. The most ridiculous thing is, anyone who tries to leave will be pursued for treason by him. Finally, I was forced to leave Jiangxing and leave my hometown. Thinking of this, I asked Song Ziqiang with a slightly unfriendly tone. Mr. Song, do you think I should explain it? And Song Ziqiang seemed to notice the change in my expression, so she said she would handle it here. Saying that, she walked quickly towards Zhao, the captain on the side. It's not your turn to speak here. Go back and tell Huang Xingqiu. If there's any problem, let him come directly to me. Upon hearing this, Captain Zhao dared not speak out in anger. After all, Song Ziqiang is the queen of the city who controls both black and white roads. He is just a small company commander, can't afford to offend. Just at this moment, a soldier suddenly ran over and said, Company commander, survivors in the quarantine area are causing trouble. What should we do? Upon hearing this, I immediately asked if there was a guy named Lu Feng. Unexpectedly, that soldier said it was caused by him. The most ferocious one is this guy named Lu Feng. Upon hearing this, I immediately expressed my desire to meet Lu Feng. 2.5 minutes later, Lu Feng was brought in front of us. He thought it was his own father. It took some connections to get him released. Who knows? I patted him on the shoulder. I directly injected the funeral virus into his body. Then I looked at Lu Feng and said, It's me who's looking for you. Someone asked me to pass a message to you. Su Xing told me everything you did last night in bed. So she hopes you die. After saying that, I immediately took a few steps back and looked at the people around me. Everyone, please maintain a distance. This guy is infected with the zombie virus. Heard this before. The enraged Lu Feng immediately rushed towards me. Su Xing is so difficult to deal with. How could she possibly be with you? He can't even finish his words. The zombie virus instantly consumed his sanity. It's just in time for me to see the situation. Test the power of my heavy hammer form as I throw a punch. Then Lu Feng instantly turned into minced meat. The power of the heavy hammer form is so immense. I couldn't help but smile with satisfaction. Then I looked at Song Ziqiang behind me. Boss Song, your performance today is considered passable. After I go back, I can tell you some information. However, Song Ziqiang, who heard this, quickly chased after. I regret it now. I don't want to be your partner. Is it still possible for me to be yours now? I smiled when I heard that. It depends on your future performance. After a moment, I sat in Song Ziqiang's Mercedes and went back to Jiangxing City together. Song Ziqiang wants to invite me to her house for a meal. However, I told her not to disturb me until I get home. After saying that, I opened the system panel. I started to check the rewards dropped by the Meat Mountain. Unexpectedly, the Meat Mountain dropped 2 skill books for me. The attribute is reduced by 50%, and Bloodthirsty can increase the host's overall attributes. However, during the cooldown period, the host will be in a state of kidney deficiency. Muscle hypertrophy can greatly increase muscle mass. The efficiency of strength and physique growth will also double. However, the side effect is that it greatly reduces the host's flexibility. Although these 2 skill books are useless to me, but they are still good for winning people's hearts in the early days of the apocalypse. When it comes to winning people's hearts, now is the time to start laying out the formation of forces. The gold coins rewarded for killing the Meat Mountain. Just enough to create a chat group. I can gather pioneers through the chat group. Help them lay a good foundation before the arrival of the future. So I directly created a chat group for myself. Named the group as Chat Group 001. Dark Goddess. This time I will definitely rebuild my own kingdom of gods, and you will become my lowly M-dog under my feet. 2.5 hours later, I arrived at Song Ziqiang's private villa. She also learned from my mouth. The end of the world is a cosmic trial. 90% of people will become man-eating monsters. Only a few people can become awakeners. At this time, Song Ziqiang straightforwardly asked, "How can I become yours?" I raised my hand and said, "First is ability. I don't need waste. Secondly, it's absolute loyalty like a dog." Song Ziqiang showed a confident smile when she heard the words. Loyalty, I can. As for the ability, I don't think there is anyone in this city who has this ability more than me, regardless of power, money, or status. I, however, playfully told her, after the apocalypse, there will be new rules. Everything you have now will only make this matter of you having dual roles even more tempting. There is no value in addition to this. Just thinking about being with my daughter in the afterlife. It is very likely to become someone else's plaything. Song Ziqiang couldn't help but get nervous. Then she continued to ask, "What's the difference between being a loyal dog to you? What's the difference between being someone else's plaything?" I smiled at the words. "You can have one with me. A stage where you can unleash all your abilities. At the same time, I will not restrict your development because of jealousy." Hearing this, Song Ziqiang finally let go of her worries. Then she knelt down and said, "I, Song Ziqiang, am willing to be loyal to the master." I saw the former River City Queen submit to me. I couldn't help but get excited inside. Then I pinched her chin. "Now let me see your real charm. Also, there are some things I need to ask you to do." Very soon, Song Ziqiang complied with my request. Sent a task to Frost, who was waiting in the hall. Post on major forums to summon all pioneers. After completing all this, just as I was about to experience the charm of Song Ziqiang, information reminded me that her daughter suddenly called. Seeing this, I answered the phone and said, "Your mom is busy with something important now. If you have something, come back and talk later." After hearing that it was me who answered the phone, although Song Gu is a bit introverted, but I didn't think much about it. Instead, I blamed myself for not replying to her message. In Shao 9 miles T9067, however, before she finished speaking, I directly hung up the phone, gritting teeth in the face of the Song dynasty's anger. Odious Chinbai, sooner or later, I will make you kneel before this lady's right loose skirt. And on the villa's side, after finishing work, Song Ziqiang inquired, "Can I protect her child in this doomsday?" I smiled at the words. "If you work hard enough, I can guarantee that she will survive the doomsday. When the apocalypse comes, she won't turn into a man-eating monster." Early the next morning, led by Assistant Shuang, we arrived at an underground casino. Mr. Chun. I went to every place in the city where there were rumors of zombies yesterday. Finally, only this underground casino was found. There are probably more than 200 grieving households, but no mutated grieving households like the Meat Mountain were found. Upon hearing this, I immediately fell into deep thought. It seems that this is the former Jiangxi, the slaughterhouse of the three major events. The military only dares to accommodate dozens of bereaved families. This guy actually wants to collect all the bereaved families in Jiangxing. I am now more curious about this warrior who collects bereaved families. The warrior is becoming more and more curious. As I ordered the casino doors to open, countless mourners rushed out from inside. However, faced with hundreds of mourners, I stood still in place, just a distance of less than 2.5 meters away from the crowd. I suddenly attacked and sent the front zombie flying. Then I pressed my hand on the zombie's forehead. I started absorbing the zombie virus. In no time at all, most of the zombies in the casino were sucked dry by me. And the system also sent me a prompt. Kill more than 300 zombies. Obtain the title of Zombie Hunter. Increase all attributes by 5. Increase damage to zombies by 5. Successfully collected 500 samples of the Mourner virus. You can use virus points to exchange for the Mourner virus serum formula. I was instantly delighted to see this situation. This serum formula is a good thing. Even awakeners should be troubled by the zombie virus. Therefore, the virus serum is a treasure that all awakeners dream of in the end times. After solving the dog part of the casino, though, I asked Song Ziqiang to call everyone in, then order each of them to go and kill a zombie, because only I know that as long as before the doomsday comes, killing a zombie with a cold weapon, you can greatly reduce the chance of becoming a monster. As long as you kill a bereaved person without any harm, then there is a 100% chance of not becoming a monster. Afterwards, I will bring a bereaved person in front of a few people. Now let me see your strength. One person, one beast. Who goes first? Upon hearing this, Lung Shuang walked up empty-handed. Indicates that she will be the first to appear. Then, with a leap, she rushes toward the mock funeral. And Frost is also worthy of being the city of Jiang, the queen's personal assistant and bodyguard. Just a momentary encounter. That morning household was easily killed by her. Seeing this scene, I couldn't help but applaud. Very good. Quick, accurate, and ruthless. Clean and neat. Next up is Song Ziqiang. With the blessing of the baseball bat, Song Ziqiang also easily dealt with the second zombie. I then started to comment on the side. The power is not quite there, although it was knocked down in one go. But it took more than a dozen times to get it done. But when it was Su Xing's turn, because her power was too weak, she was knocked down by the zombie. However, as a nurse, she is very familiar with the human body structure. Therefore, she barely managed to successfully kill the zombie. It's finally Song Ji's turn, but she was scared to pee by the scene in front of her, despite Song Ziqiang's efforts to persuade and comfort her on the side. Song Gu said she couldn't do it. I was speechless when I saw this scene. Scared to pee before the fight started. What a failure. So I called Song Ziqiang, who was comforting Song Gu, over. All the zombies that Lung Shuang went to. No gains in the rumored places. This is not normal. Send someone to investigate. However, Song Ziqiang looked worriedly at her daughter not far away. But what should Song Gu do? With Song Ji's temperament, I'm afraid I can die in place until the end of the day. Little did I know, the next second, Zhang handed the prescription to her. After seeing the formula for the zombie virus antidote, Song Ziqiang looked surprised. She just couldn't understand the configured steps. At this point, I raised my hand and said, "You don't need to understand. Just put the materials on the recipe, and the serum will be generated automatically." Upon hearing this, Song Ziqiang was delighted. "Thank you for your trust, master. I will do my best to complete the task you assigned, and keep the formula safe." After finishing all the instructions, I took out my phone and started watching Letting Frost, the post about the Forerunner that was released. Information about the transformation, the hard worker extinguisher, White Emperor. As the ancestor of the evolvers, I warn again. When I saw this scene, my mouth twitched. What the hell is this? However, a private message quickly caught my attention. Big Brother OP. I'm not a troll. I really am a pioneer. What else do you know, Big Brother? My mouth slightly curved when I saw this. It seems that not all of them are funny people. There is still something to gain. At 1539, later my followers found out something that I won't reveal. Pioneer White Emperor. I won't reveal it. This pioneer's name is Han Shao at 540. No, but don't worry, I won't reveal it. Awakened as S-level mental manipulation at 1540. But just after I added him to the chat group, he asked me what I knew, but I know nothing. Han Ben asked me in the group. He asked me what I knew, but I know nothing, and then he ignored me. I was shocked when I saw this name. In the previous life, Mizukawa was a top-level evolver. He is even known as the Emperor of Water, a supreme powerhouse among all awakeners. Thinking of this, I immediately replied that it is completely possible. If other pioneers are found, they can also be added to the group chat. If you can put this Mizukawa down,